Please do not tell me that Porg is a magic
Porg,
card.
it got banned. It was. Hello and welcome to a special episode of Unlimited Limited. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. Going back to my quiz show roots, but changing it up a little bit. I'm going to have on a very, very strong Magic player who has never played SWU and ask them for their opinions on various SWU cards that have either seen play throughout history or that never have. I think it'll be cool to see how someone who is very talented card game player, but not someone who knows the ins and outs of Star Wars Unlimited, how they will think through the cards and will they be right about all of them? Will they be wrong about all of them? Probably somewhere in between. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm here with today's Magic Pro, Lucas, okay? If you see him in the draft queue on Arena, you better watch out. You better draw your lands and your spells, because if you make even one mistake, it's over for you. Say hi, Lucas.
Hello.
Lucas, tell me your experience with Star Wars Unlimited. And also tell me your experience with Magic. Tell me your background with both of those games.
I've been playing Magic since about Return to Ravnica, I want to say, I think is where around I started. I'm a draft fiend. I love a good draft there. And Star Wars Unlimited, I just watched Ben play his game, and that was my first time seeing gameplay of it.
Yeah. I played one game ahead of time just so he would have an idea of how to evaluate the cards. But yes, definitely a pro Magic player with real tournament wins. Now, don't ask what those tournaments are, but he's definitely won some of them. Figure, let's just get right into it. So, Lucas, as you remember, I mentioned that the default base, that's kind of the equivalent to the basic land, I guess, in Magic, is 30 life. So anything over 30 life that your base is going to have, the base needs to come with a downside. And anything that has less than 30 life, the base needs to come with an upside. So here's a couple bases for you. I want you to determine whether these are good or not in a competitive Star Wars Unlimited. Have they ever been good in any of the Star Wars Unlimited competitive metas? So we're starting with Tarkin Town here. So feel free to ask any questions and walk through your reasoning. I want to hear your reasoning for why all of these are good or not. So you're sacrificing 5 life, basically, for this effect that you can do once per game to deal 3 damage to a damaged non-leader unit.
Okay, so something's already been damaged. And then you can kind of finish it off.
Yeah, once per game you can do that, and that's one of your actions. So instead of playing a unit or attacking with a unit, you can do this as that action.
Oh, interesting. My gut feeling, my initial reaction is that, being able to remove things is good. That is a powerful thing to do, but I don't know. So it has to already have been damaged. Those, destroy a damaged unit sort of effects in Magic. Those tend to just be middling and limited.
Yeah, 100%.
But I feel the context might be different. Does damage, once a unit is damaged, that doesn't...
Yeah, the damage doesn't go away in this game like it does in Magic. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a bit more enticing then. I think it seems reasonable.
So your vote for this one is good?
I think my vote for this one is good. Yeah.
Well, you're correct. Exactly. So Tarkin Town is actually very, very worth the 5 life. Now, that is a lot for sure. And if you're in against an aggro, that can really make the difference, that extra 5. But it was good when it was printed in the first set, but it got even better because in the second and third set, there were 2 leaders printed. Cad Bane and Quinlan Voss, and both of those leaders had ways to just automatically ping opponents' units. Yeah, so your regular turn 1 would be they would play something, and then you would play something and ping their unit, and then kill it with Tarkin Town, and then you basically just they didn't have a turn 1 play, and you did, and that was just so insanely good that it would just run away with games. But even before that, it was still good. It just became really busted after that.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're doing well so far. 1 for 1. Let's keep the streak going. I have 3 bases for you before we get into the other cards. So next is Thermal Oscillator, which is a 27 life base that lets you have your minimum deck size decreased by 5. So deck size in Star Wars is 50 for constructed. So you could play a 45 card deck if you sacrifice the 3 life for Thermal Oscillator.
So the reverse logic is so it's 50 cards, right? You said?
50 cards. Playset is 3 if that changes anything.
Yeah, yeah. So part of me wants to say like that's really nice. Like the increased variance there. But if you're going down from 50 to 45 cards,
Hmm.
that's man, that's a cool design space.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like reverse Yorion.
Yep, exactly.
Uh, um I feel 5 is not enough. That's like I want to say part of me wants to say that's good, but I feel like there isn't like this doesn't synerg I can't imagine anything that this synergizes with. Like I don't know what cards look like. Maybe there is something
No,
that
there's
that
nothing that
cares
really
about small.
synergizes with deck size. Arguably, there's like, I mean, you could argue that this anti-synergizes with mill, but mill isn't usually a real strategy in most of the metagames.
Okay,
Mill
okay.
also mill in Star Wars you don't instantly lose, but every card that you're going to draw that you can't draw is three damage, and since you're drawing 2 a turn, you just take 6 damage a turn.
I'm gonna say this, yeah, I'm gonna say this one isn't good, or it's just like fine. Like I'm not for it. Because I don't think 5 is necessarily enough to, make your variance better, play a worse base. Compared to one where you saw where like you had removal attached to it, right?
So you're saying this is probably not good. Maybe it wasn't good in any
Yeah.
of the metas. Yeah, you're exactly right. So it just wasn't worth it. Which it was weird because when I saw this card spoiled, I thought, oh, in Magic, if I could start at 17 and bring a 55 card deck, would I do that? Maybe depends on the meta, but like I could see a world where I would want to do that.
It'd be nasty for like any sort of combo.
Yeah, any combo
Yeah.
deck just increases your consistency in limited. Like if you could just bring a 35 card deck, like that, I'd probably do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, this card unfortunately just didn't see play, which is a little surprising. So now on the other side of things, Data Vault, which is a 33 life base, but your minimum deck size is increased by 10.
Ooh. So now
So
we're
you
getting
you
into
mentioned
Yorion.
yeah you mentioned Yorion earlier, and that was a little foreshadowing.
Yeah, yeah. Yorion's pretty good. Yorion is a very good card. I think for the exact same reason though of like I don't know, there isn't much of a synergy unless there's like some sort of like Yorion decks have the added benefit of you play it toolboxy, you blink a bunch of stuff. Um
Yeah. So what if Yorion was healing self? Is what this card is.
yeah, yeah, I don't yeah, I really don't when you put it that way. That's what I was gonna say was like I don't think 3 life is particularly great to I don't know, maybe 3 life's a lot of damage in this game, but
I don't
like
want to talk you out of it. I don't want to talk
yeah,
you
yeah,
out of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, I'm not on the same reason like I am for the last one. I'm not for this one, I don't think.
Sure. So this card is everywhere, and people are calling for it to be banned. And yeah,
Okay,
which is
okay.
crazy because when this card was spoiled, I was clowning on it so hard in different Star Wars chats. I was like, imagine Yorion was healing salve. Like this is like why would you ever do this? But it turns out, and it's still like difficult for me to wrap my head around, but there's enough redundancy of key cards in this game that your consistency doesn't matter as much a lot of the time because like you need to hit, let's say you really need to hit your 6-drop. With Data Vault, you just put in extra 6-drops, and the redundancy, like maybe you don't hit your best 6-drop, but your next best one is like 95% as good, so it's like fine. And the extra 3 life really does help against aggro decks. So basically, every
Yeah.
deck that runs a green base runs Data Vault right now.
Interesting. Interesting.
Which
Okay, wow. That's shocking to me.
yeah, that is probably the most shocking card evaluation that I've gotten wrong was Data Vault. I was like, this is terrible. Now, obviously, this card is terrible in draft, but
Yeah, yeah.
all right. So yeah, 2 for 3 is still good, and I kind of edged you in the direction of being wrong on this one. I feel like as a Magic player, you were going to evaluate this as being bad anyway.
I was gonna evaluate because I mean
Yeah.
I saw it the exact same as the other one, right?
Yeah.
Like if the other one could be good and the other one's a bit more enticing to me, honestly.
Yeah,
but
I
still.
agree. Thermal Oscillator still seems better to me than Data Vault, even though I know it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, so Data Vault is, yeah, very good. All right, moving from bases, we're getting into units. So this is a space unit, Stolen AT Hauler. It's a 3-cost ship. It's a 4/5. And it has when defeated, choose an opponent for this phase. They may play it from its owner's discard pile for free. So so this is an overstated space unit that gets it when it dies. Your opponent just gets it basically.
Oh, okay. So yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah, so if you're playing
uh
a 3-cost space unit, you can usually expect it to be like a 3/4. So this is extra stats on that.
so if you defeat it when your opponent gets it back, do you get it back?
Yep, yeah, if your opponent gets it back and you kill
Okay.
it, then you also get it back again, yes.
So this is like permanently like some 4 or 5 more or less on the field, right?
More or less, yeah. Sometimes used to play. So this I used to play a deck that didn't really do much into space. So when I did manage to kill a card like this, I chose to not get it back because then I didn't want my opponent to get it back. I just chose for the space arena to remain empty because it is optional. You don't
Okay.
have to get it back. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Um, hmm. So it's magic logic to me like
Yeah.
pushes me toward giving your opponent things is bad. At least in 2026 magic.
Yeah. You're not playing
But
harmless offering in your
yeah,
constructed
yeah.
decks.
But I am, I love a good overstated creature. Um, I love pushing it, and part of me thinks that, at least Magic in its earlier days was okay with cards with downsides like
Mm-hmm.
this, right? And I'm thinking SWU might be in a similar place at least. I don't know. I'm back and forth on it. I'm gonna say it's decent. I'm gonna say it's yeah, it's been reasonable.
Yeah, good evaluation. This card has been a staple in sort of space aggro decks. And the fact that like you can just very cleanly deal with whatever your opponent put in space as like a response to this on the same turn and then just continue to build in space is just ridiculous. And then if your opponent does eventually manage to kill it and play it for free, there's a really good chance you have some massive space unit that you can just either kill it or ignore it and just keep going face.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So this card ended up being very, very strong.
Yeah. I
You
like
could
to see
also
cards look be good. Yeah.
now it just rotated, but there also used to be a leader that could ramp you for the cost of a card in your hand as a temporary ramp. So you could put this out on turn one, and it was stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. That's sick.
All right. Next we have Black One, which is a 6-cost 4/4. So this is understated, and it has when played and when defeated, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards.
Oh, okay. So, that's interesting. So like yeah, yeah, my brain immediately goes like magic wise like into like hollow one decks and stuff like that and like taking advantage of that discard. My worry is that it's when played when defeated. So when it like you could play it and then your opponent could kill it and you couldn't control that. You discard your hand, draw three. But maybe that's still good
It
enough.
is
Like you're
optional. It says may.
yeah. Oh, okay, okay. It's not a forced discard.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, okay. That maybe makes it a bit better then. Yeah, I think I'm for this one then. I think there's got to be ways to set this up, right?
So you're saying that this is a meta staple?
I'm saying yeah, I'm saying this is scene play. I'm saying yeah.
So in the very early days, some people tried to, but it unfortunately just didn't work. Whenever you're playing a 6-cost in an aggro deck, because this card is meant for an aggro deck, you really need to be like pushing an insane amount of damage. And 4 costs, I mean, we just saw a 3-cost unit that attacked for 4, and this is a 6-cost unit that
Yeah.
attacked for 4. It just wasn't aggressive enough. And yeah, the effect was like nice if you played out your hand and then you drew 3, but it was like very rare that you necessarily wanted to be doing that anyway. So,
Yeah, that checks out.
especially because you draw 2 a turn, so drawing 3 isn't quite as strong as it is in Magic. Since draw, yeah, it's a little bit less good. Next is the Legacy Run, which is a 5-cost 3/3, so understated again. But when defeated, you can deal 6 damage divided as you choose among enemy units.
Ooh. Yeah, you can split it up.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
So I feel my understanding of stats is messed up because of that first one because it was so pushed on there.
Yeah.
Because that is a little, but my feeling is there's got to be some sort of sacrifice synergies. Dealing 6 divided seems pretty good, like on a unit, right? I like that. I like that a lot. I'm gonna be for this one. I think again.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. So this card ended up being just putting 6 however you want ends up being so strong, and you can do like so much with it, and you can set up these really nice trades with it. And as you say, there are some good sack synergies. And there is even one leader who doubles when defeated, so it's actually like deal 12 divided, which is usually just like a one-sided board wipe. And yeah, it can go. This is one of the rare cases where a space unit can like affect the ground, right? Because you can put the 6 on the ground if you want, or you can put it into space. Yeah. So even though it's understated, this card ends up being very good.
Yeah, that checks out. I love a good. I can't remember the like arc lightning.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Next is Lurking TIE Phantom, which is a 3-cost 2/2, so a little understated. It has Raid 2, which means it attacks as a 4/2. So it defends as a 2/2, it attacks as a 4/2. And it says this unit can't be captured, damaged, or defeated by enemy card abilities.
So that's like more or less like indestructible.
It's closer to hexproof because you can still you can attack into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you can still attack it, but it causes basically anything else to whiff. Hexproof's pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's right.
Waiting, waiting for 4 in space there. I'm gonna say that's pretty decent as well. I'm on the positivity streak here. But I like that seems reasonable for an aggressive deck, or like I guess if you have other ways to protect it, maybe too, like swinging for 4 each turn's pretty cool, like a Geist of Saint Draft type of thing.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying this is a banger?
I'm gonna say this is a good one.
A staple, yeah. No, yeah, you're exactly right. So for just space aggro decks, this ended like attacking for 4 is very, very good. And this definitely suffered in like the mirror match. It wasn't necessarily the best thing you could do, but a lot of decks try to just do stuff on the ground and then interact in space with like removal if they need to. And Lurking TIE Phantom, especially if you put like upgrades on it and do like a Voltron kind of thing, makes it very, very scary. I've lost a lot of games to this card. Yeah, it's very, very good. All right, next we have Bendu, which is an 8-cost 10/10. And it says, on attack, deal 3 damage to each other unit. So all units, yours or your opponent's, with the exception of Bendu.
Okay. Interesting. So I think like, because I mean, if you don't have many other units in your deck, that's something cool you can do. But I don't know how viable like low creature count, creature list sort of strategies are. My guess is not really. I'm gonna, and that is a real cost, especially if damage doesn't go away, right? It's not like you can play like big butts and let them live.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Anger of the Gods or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this one's bad.
Why do you think it's bad?
I think because, I mean, it is a lot of stats for an 8 drop, like for the 10/10, like that's pretty good. I'm unsure if this is something you can actually like build around, and be solid. I guess it is a board wipe on your opponent, or a partial board wipe. I'm back and forth on it. Like I keep pushing myself in both directions, but like, yeah, I think ultimately it feels hard to build around.
Yeah, that's you're pretty much right. A lot of people were back and forth on this card. I was when it launched. It's a little bit too contingent on being able to untap and attack. Whenever you play an 8-drop, like even in Magic, when you play an 8-drop, you need to do something right away. If your opponent can just point Doomblade at it, it's probably not very good. And that's kind of what happens a lot here. Like if you play an 8-drop and then your opponent just has a removal spell, you're kind of just cooked. So your 8-drop should do something right away, and this just doesn't. Definitely though, it is a lot of stats for the cost, and there are still some people who are trying to make it work, but as far as I know in the competitive scene, there hasn't really been any use of Bendu yet. Maybe it's shown up randomly as a 1-of in some sideboards, I'm not sure, but like against the token aggro decks, you're probably not getting to 8 anyway, which is what this would just completely hose. So,
Sure.
Yeah, so you are, yeah, you're correct.
I was getting Timmy vibes. I was
Yeah,
getting
it's
Timmy
definitely a Timmy. No, yeah, and in draft, this is probably pretty good. I don't think it's a legendary, which is the game's equivalent of mythic. So I don't think I've ever actually opened it in draft, but I imagine it's decent in draft, where you can't just have removal for it. Next, we have Maz Kanata, which is a 1-cost 1/1 that says when you play another unit, give an experience token to this unit. So experience token is just 1/1 counter, basically.
Oh, okay. So it's a 1-drop that gives a 1/1 counter.
Every time you play another unit, it gives a 1/1 counter to itself.
Oh, that seems really good, right? Like I like that's I assume you're playing units or does yeah, like I don't know. 1-mana cards are nothing to at least in Magic, scoff at there. And
yeah, now remember when evaluating 1-cost cards in Star Wars, you do start with 2 resources. There's no turn where you only have 1 resource.
So you can play 2 1-drops.
You can play, yep. There are some decks that play 2 1-drops. Most decks just play a 2-drop, but there are a lot of decks that do play 2 1-drops. Okay. Usually more aggro decks.
I think I'm still up on this. I mean, like I think giving counters is pretty cool there. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of speculation about this card when it came out that it was going to be very good, and unfortunately, it just didn't really get there. The way that it worked was that the absolute dream scenario for this card, you're right, was that you do 1-drop, 1-drop, and then it's a 2/2. But since you've done that, your opponent has taken the initiative, which means they get to go first next turn, and their 2-drop is probably like a 2/3. And then they can just kill Maz Kanata for free, basically, and still have their 2-drop. It just like it was like fine, I guess, but it was never good enough to actually get into any competitive deck. Now, of course, if they can't immediately kill it, it probably is going to do very well. And this was a very good card in draft as well, because you couldn't guarantee that you just immediately kill it. And then maybe even you play it later, and while it's like behind a Sentinel, you have a Sentinel down, so your opponents have to attack that instead of base or other units. But yeah, most of the time, this unfortunately didn't see play.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
All right. Next we have Porg. It's a 0-cost 1/1.
Not Ornithopter, the other one. Memnite.
Yeah, Memnite. Yeah, we have Memnite in SWU.
I feel like Memnite and Ornithopter only do things because there's ways to break them. I don't know if there's any way to break Porg yet. That's my gut feeling. I feel SWU's too new of a game to have stuff going on where you can break it. Please do not tell me that Porg is a
Porg. It got banned. It was no. It's yeah, this card is not very good. I at a tournament had one of my opponents play it against me once, and I actually did a double take because I was like, whoa, this is good. Well, they were doing like a self-sack deck, so they were playing Porgs and then sacking it for free for value on turn 1 to get like kind of explosive turn 1s. Unfortunately, I don't even think Porg is good in draft. Oh, actually, there is one player who I think came second at a bigger tournament who was running Porg in their sideboard. I'm not sure why, but they were doing it and it was funny, so good for them.
Little companion friend in the sideboard.
Yeah, exactly. Just to cheer him up, as the games go on. Yeah, you are correct. All right, moving to events. So these are like the sorceries of SWU. So this one costs 10, and it says play only as your first action in the action phase. So action phase just means turn, basically. So you can only do this as the first thing you do on any given turn. And it says choose an arena at the start, so space or ground. At the start of the regroup phase, which is end step, basically. If you're the only player who controls units in that arena, you win the game.
So 10 mana is a lot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with this is kind of a dream, like to hit that. Like this, it's tricky to be able to set that up and have the 10 mana to do so. So I'm gonna say it's bad.
So 10 is a lot. You're right, and more importantly than that, this is 10 mana do nothing. Yes. Which is now, of course, if you do it, you just win the game. But whenever you do this as the first action, you probably tapped out. You probably have no more resources. So your opponent has this whole turn to even just get one unit into the space arena. And or ground arena, depending on what you name. And if they do that, then you've just spent 10 mana time walk yourself. And yeah, it just never gets there. This card is so bad. I mean, it's sort of like Bendu, right? Where Bendu was 8 cost for like a good unit, but it's still not actually that good because it can just die instantly. Like sometimes it just feels like do nothing. This is like that, but even more, right? It's like 10 costs actually do nothing. Don't even use one of your removals or your opponent's removal spells to deal with it. Yeah, this card is not good. Although that same player that was playing Porg in their sideboard was also playing one of these in their sideboard. So maybe they're just awesome and I don't know what I'm talking about.
I was getting, all those terrible alt win cons.
Yeah.
Vibe from not like Battle of Wits, but like maybe Battle of Wits actually.
Yeah, SWU is still pretty green on the whole alt win con thing. I think there's a couple. This is like the most famous one, I think. There's a couple alt lose cons. I don't know if I've included any in this, but
Okay.
yeah. All right. Next we have Search Your Feelings. It's basically 4-cost demonic tutor.
Yeah, it is. Demonic. Well, what's the name of the 4 mana that people put in their
Oh, is there an actual 4-mana demonic tutor in Magic? I didn't know that.
It's the exact same card but 4 mana, and it's not great. Now so you get 2 mana each turn in SWU.
You get 2 mana on the first turn and then 1 mana on each turn after that.
Oh, each turn after.
Yeah.
So this is a turn 3 tutor.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting, because tutors can be powerful in the right deck, right? When you got it, I'm gonna say this is decent. I think that's a reasonable rate for a tutor.
What kind of deck do you think this saw play in?
Some sort of either a control or combo shot. I don't know what combo decks exist in SWU.
There are technically combo decks, but like not really. So don't think about combo decks. Control decks are real.
Okay.
Though. Control decks are real.
My guess is it's got to be some sort of control deck then, right? Where you're searching, kind of like a mystical teaching sort of deal, where you're searching for answers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess.
All right, so unfortunately, this card is very bad, which is a little bit surprising because it is the best tutor in the game. I think it's the only tutor in the game. I might be wrong about that, but I think it is. And the reason is because, again, you're playing this and then your opponent is just playing a real 4. And then, yeah, sure, you hit your best possible 5 or whatever, but, like, your opponent's probably also hitting a 5. Maybe not their best 5, but, like, you're just sacrificing so much tempo on board for, like, a little bit of consistency. And as we've learned, sacrificing life on your base for consistency is not worth it. So sacrificing tempo on board for consistency certainly is not worth it.
That makes sense.
Now, people do play this in Twin Suns, which is this game's version of Commander. This is a staple in Twin Suns, but yeah, outside of that, nobody plays this.
Okay, that makes sense. I was also thinking that I guess with, like, you've mentioned aggro a few times, it seems to be very prevalent.
Yeah, aggro's been good for as long as the game is out. It's not always the best deck, and there have been times where it fell off a little bit, but it's always been like at least B tier.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, next is Super Laser Blast. It's 8-cost Wrath of God, basically.
8-cost Wrath of God. Okay, cool. Putting Wrath at 8. Yeah, I gotta imagine. This affects the board, so I gotta imagine your control decks do like this one. Cool art.
Yeah, it's super cool.
I like this one. I like Wrath of God, so it's hard for me to.
And you think this was good in control decks specifically?
Yeah.
Your control decks basically don't exist without this card. This card is absolutely necessary for control decks to exist, because you play this and then, yeah, sure, your opponent probably gets to play the first unit back on the board, but then, you take initiative and you first action play your 9-drop or your 10-drop or your 11-drop ship, and at that point in the game, your opponent probably can't compete with that. So if you get an on-curve Super Laser Blast as a control deck, you're very favored to win that game most of the time.
That checks out.
Yeah, it just rotated and they printed a similar one, but time will tell whether it's good or not. Next is Force Throw, which has a lot of text on it. Cost 1, it says choose a player, so that's you or your opponent. That player discards a card from their hand. Then if you control a force unit, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the cost of the discarded card.
Interesting. So you can use it as self discard if
Yeah.
there's a reason for that.
I'll tell you
Uh,
right now, there's no real self discard. There's technically is, but they're not real self discard strategies in the game. Now that doesn't mean you would never target yourself with this, because if you had like a 9 drop and you're okay 2 for 1ing yourself to kill one of your opponent's units, that's something you can do. Yeah.
okay. Okay. So that yeah. So okay. So it's removal, but if you target your opponent to discard a card, then you get the choice of it. So it's not like guaranteed gonna kill something. It depends in their hand. But it is 1 mana.
Yeah, so if you
Like
choose your opponent, they get to choose what to discard, and then like if they have a unit that has like 4 HP, they're probably not going to discard a 4 drop if they have a 2 drop.
yeah, yeah. That's still kind of enticing though.
And
Like
then
to
also
some
you do need to have a force unit to do that, and that is depend. So I'll tell you right now, force units were pretty sparse in the first 4 sets of the game, and then in the 5th set, it's called Legends of the Force. They printed a lot of force units, so that's the
okay.
that's the breaking
Okay.
point for that.
A bit of context there. Yeah. Yeah, you really gotta build around it then. Give I'm gonna say it wasn't good because um giving your opponents a choice is usually not great. It is 1 mana discards are kind of reasonable-ish, but yeah, I'm gonna say not good.
You're gonna say so not good before Legends of the Force, after, or just in general?
At least before. Maybe I don't know. There's some force unit printed that makes this a lot better. Um,
Oh well, sorry. I will say any deck that ran this after Legends of the Force could always consistently have a force unit on the field. If that
oh,
changes
okay.
your
Oh,
mind.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I was under the impression that even after, like, it was still
No, force units
kind
were
of.
abundant after set 5. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Then maybe if there's like a plethora of them, then yeah, I'm a bit more interested then. Yeah.
So you think before
Uh,
it was bad, after it was good?
yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm feeling there. I'm still the part of me that's still iffy about it is giving your opponent the choice on what to discard. But I guess again, 2 for 1ing yourself is sometimes reasonable. Um, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so that's actually like a pretty good analysis of this card. So before Legends of the Forest, this card was actually, it wasn't bad still, it was good. It just, yeah, there was like kind of like one force deck, sort of, maybe arguably two, depending on how you evaluate a force deck. When the first set came out, there was basically one force set. Then after like set 3, there was kind of a second one. But they were pretty inconsistent on hitting this, and they had to play kind of bad units, because if they wanted to get the force trait regularly, they had to play the bad force units too. But the card was still good. And then after Legends of the Force, it became everywhere. Everybody played this card. It was absolutely ubiquitous, and it actually ended up getting banned. So this is the first
Okay.
example we've seen of a banned card. Yeah. And they've only banned a few cards in the game so far. And the reason was yeah, so you usually would choose your opponent, and definitely that is a downside, giving your opponent a choice, 100%. But usually, because you don't decide where the damage goes until after they discard the card, you could make it work. So maybe you don't get to kill their biggest unit, but you still made them go down a card and kill a smaller unit. Sometimes people, I played the deck at Galactics that ran Force Throw, and sometimes people in their sideboard would include 0-cost cards deliberately just to pitch to Force Throw and brick your turn.
Oh,
But that's how like ubiquitous in the meta was. People would play like generally bad cards in order to brick Force Throw. Also, Force Throw countered Force Throw, which was kind of nice because if you just discard Force Throw, they only get to deal 1 to something.
flavor.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing is, yeah, so sometimes you would just choose yourself and discard your 9-drop and kill their leader. And yeah, you 2-for-1 yourself, but like I mentioned earlier, killing leaders is very, very important. So yeah, this card ended up being good before the Insane Force Curves came out, and then after the Insane Force Curves came out, it became an absolute staple. Yeah, card is great, and I miss it every day, but it's banned now, so I had to not run it anymore. All right, next is Waylay. It's a 3-cost unsummon, basically, non-leader specifically.
3-cost non-leader unit. So yeah, the leader's the important one. Um, um, oh no, I feel after seeing the last one, which actually, killed things. Bounces. 3 for like just unsummon. That seems like a lot. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna go with my gut and say that's not great. Maybe I'm wrong on the costing of it, but yeah, that's my gut feeling.
Fair enough, and yeah, I also evaluated this like that, but this card is a staple.
Oh,
It
yeah.
ended up being you would usually, of course, want to trade up, right? You usually wouldn't want to bounce their two, but in a pinch, if someone tries to get cute and do like their 2 drop and then next turn put a bunch of equipment on it or something like that, just being able to bounce it and brick all the equipment. Equipment in this game is more like enchantments in Magic, like you don't like get to pay an equip cost and move it around. It's more like when the
Mhm.
unit leaves, it just goes to the discard. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, this
Okay.
card has just been like a tempo staple since day one, and it just rotated recently, and people are playing worse versions of this card in their deck now happily, including myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Wow.
yeah. There's one that I'm playing right now called Beguile, which is just the same card but can't hit anything over cost of 6. And that's still good enough. Next, we are moving to upgrades. So think of these like enchantments in Magic. You can like pay the cost, put it on a unit, and it gets extra buffs and whatever, but if the unit leaves, it just goes to the discard. So we have Jedi Holocron, which can only go on Force units, which we now know are abundant at this point. And it gives the attached unit on attack. You may heal 3 damage from another unit, and it also gives +1/+1. That's for 1.
Was this included just so you could include a healing salve? Is that
I don't know what you're talking about. It's healing salve, but it gives +1/+1, and it's a repeatable healing salve. Although it can't hit your base, you can't heal
That's
3 from your
true. That's
base.
true.
If you could heal 3 from your base, this would probably have been banned. No, I don't know. Maybe that's probably not
Uh,
true.
I'm still not high on it. I know it's repeatable healing
Mm-hmm.
self, but healing self.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not even gonna like belabor this. This card's not very good. It's probably fine in draft, although I don't really remember it was a rare, so you didn't see it too often. Just because 1 cost +1/+1 is pretty nice, especially if you put it on your leader. If your leader's a Force unit, because anything that makes your leader bigger is good because they're so difficult to remove. And then the on attack is good, I guess, but it can't target itself, so you can't like attack and heal itself. And yeah, it's too conditional, and just yeah, nobody plays this as far as I know. Okay, getting to the end here. You're doing real well so far.
Right.
Next we have Entrenched. This is going to be a fun one. It's 2 cost +3/+3, which by the way that is very good. And it says attached units can't attack bases. Now remember, you can target your own and your opponent's units with these.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Ooh, this is a cool design.
Yeah, this is from set 1 also. This is the an OG.
Yeah, yeah. Um, that's sick. Um, so yeah, you can use it as like pacifism for your base, but you buff your opponent's stuff until, and so they use that to fight your stuff. That doesn't seem very good. But using it on your own to then like use as a buff to fight your opponent's stuff. And just like I guess you can have other stuff attack your base and then just have one that's kind of like fighting them. Like you got like a fight engine going. That sounds pretty enticing to me. Yeah, 2 for 3/3 seems really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like this. I like this. I think it's like, yeah, specific. You kind of get like a not like a remove, almost like a removal engine in your aggro deck. That's kind of how I see it, right?
Right. So you think this is good because you put it on your own stuff and then control that arena and just make use of the huge buff to do whatever.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I'm seeing it.
Do you think you ever put it on your opponent's stuff or no?
I'm leaning towards no, but I feel like that might be like I guess there might be stuff where like there's a benefit to attacking bases, or I know there's like all the stuff in space, so being able to interact with that potentially. I could see it. I could see. I think you put it on your stuff more often though.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that.
So
Yeah.
you are right. This card is good, although not quite for that reason. You actually do usually put it on your opponent's stuff. And
Oh, interesting.
yeah, and the reason is, so I ran a deck for a long time, right until rotation, that played 3 copies of this, and I think I use it on my own. It's modular, so it's nice to have the option, but I think I only use it on my own thing, like maybe 4 or 5 times here at the months of me playing that deck. Usually what you're doing, so in that deck specifically, it is I would play all of my units to the ground. I kind of just ignore the space arena, and therefore paying 2 to basically just remove a space unit was so efficient, because yeah, it's huge, and now I can never play anything in the space arena because they'll just kill it for free. But like, I'm never playing anything with the space arena anyway, so it's basically just 2 cost removal in that case.
Okay. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. I knew I had a feeling it had something to do with space stuff there. Like,
Yeah,
I thought that was
exactly. Yeah, so it's used in decks that try to ignore one arena, usually ignoring space, but sometimes, in principle, you could play it in a space deck that ignores ground too. It can attach to leaders, which is cool, because there are some leaders that go into space, and then you can just remove their leader for 2, which is like the most efficient possible thing you could do in this game. Yeah, so very, very strong effect. So well analyzed there. So for the last card of the day, I figured it was fitting to include a card like the Final Showdown. So it's a 6-cost event, which says ready each unit you control, so untap basically. At the start of the regroup phase and step, you lose the game. Now, one really quick note I should make when evaluating this card is you'll see the color here is yellow, yellow. And I think that's the first time we've seen that. Normally it's like red or yellow or blue, white. It's uncommon to see cards that have double of the same aspect. And that's because it is typically considered a pretty reasonable downside, because that means that you have to have a yellow leader and a yellow base, which limits your deck construction pretty heavily. Or
so you're basically mono, or
you're basically mono yellow, exactly. Or if you want, you can play this for 8 in a more normal deck. If you play like a yellow leader or a yellow base, but then like a blue, whatever the other thing is. If you're playing like yellow blue, then you can play this for 8. Or if you're playing blue red, you could play this for 10. But don't do that.
So you ready? They can all fight again, and do all their stuff.
Exactly. So the ideal line for this is attack with all your units, play this, attack with all of them again, and then hopefully win the game.
So it's kind of like the red extra turn effects.
Yeah, exactly. This is very much a red extra turn effect in Magic. Like
those effects are like sketchy. Those are sketchy, but they can work, and I feel like SWU feels a bit more combat orientated from what I can.
It is very combat oriented, yes. Yeah. And the designers have explicitly stated that as a goal going forward to make it even more combat oriented.
Yeah. The mono yellow situation does make it a bit trickier. Maybe it's still reasonable at 8 there as like a top end sort of thing. I want to go with this one being good. I want to dream that this one's good, because this seems like a sweet card to top end with. I don't know if it actually is, but I'm gonna say it is. Yeah.
All right. So the last card of the day, and you think it's good. So I have a story about this card. Gather around. This card is in set 2. And I went to pre-release and I opened this card. And I thought, haha, this is really funny. Obviously, in a limited sealed pool, there's no way I can make double yellow work. But I still put it in my deck, and I just played it for 8. And it actually, I believe it won me 2 games at pre-release. And I was like, whoa, this card's going to be really cool. I don't think I ever saw it since then. I don't think I've ever seen anybody play this card. And it's for good reason, because of course the dream is I'm going to attack with all of my units, and then my opponent's going to claim initiative. And then they're locked out of taking any more actions for the rest of the turn. I play this, I attack with all my units again, and I win the game. And that is the dream, for sure. Does that ever happen? No, not really. The dream was there, and I respect you hoping it was good, because I also was like, oh, wait, maybe this is good? Because originally I thought bad, and then I played it at pre-release, and I'm like, maybe good? But no. So that is the final showdown. Okay, let me tally up your score really quick. The final score is 13 out of 18. And honestly, I think that's pretty good for a game you've never played. That's
pretty good, yeah.
That's 72% correct card evaluation, okay? That's incredible, I think.
I think so. And
that's the kind of quality you can only expect from a Magic Pro. That's just how it is.
That's true.
Thanks for coming on the show. The first episode of what should the series be called? Do you SWU you know? No, that's stupid. I don't know. We'll figure something out. All right. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'm interested. This made me want to play SWU a bit more. So
Hell yeah! Come on out.
Yeah.
There was just a set, so there's the next pre-release is in like June or something. But you should go out to that. It's a good time. It's called the set's gonna be called Ashes of the Empire. Yeah, come on out.
I do like Star Wars. So
Hell yeah! Go play your
Yeah,
Glup Shadows at pre-release. Okay, there's a lot of them in this game.
there are some dude, I got some KOTOR Glup Shadows I would love to play.
I hope you do try that out and let me know if you do. All right, thanks for coming on.
Awesome, thanks.